As far as the ocean's concerned, I think we should get like a miniature hydrocraft, and at least that'll go across the sand into the water. As far as the land's concerned, I don't know. So I got involved with all these special effects guys, and they all came up with an idea that we didn't get a chance to see in the studio. It was delivered on location in front of hundreds of local people, the entire film crew, and it was demoralizing.
While on paper the device appeared frightening enough, in reality a go-kart with a flashing light on top was never going to inspire terror. Nonetheless, with the shooting already underway at Portmeirion, Rover was duly sent up to the location.
There was this horrible, round, cream-coloured cake with a stupid blue light on top.
It was essentially a cart, one of these that you use for kart racing, with a framework over it, and on top of this framework was a huge thing like a skull cap, made of rubber, and with a skirt touching the ground. Again, the hovercraft idea.
So, in my enthusiasm to see if it would work, I said I'll climb inside this stupid cake and try and drive this go-kart.
There was another problem. There was a small hole in the front of this dome for Rover, and the question was, could you see the driver?
And then when I got inside, I couldn't see anywhere. I couldn't see where I was going. So I tried to start this go-kart up and go forward a few feet and skid and make it turn around.
But the trouble was he went down bouncing from side to side. And I said to him, Bernie, why were you bouncing from side to side? And he said, because I couldn't see where I was going. The hole is too small.
I was nearly dying in there with fumes. I got out and just said, this is ridiculous. This is totally ridiculous.
With the tightest of shooting deadlines, the general consensus was to scrap the machine immediately.
It has been given out, both by Patrick McGoohan and others, that the reason it dropped was when it was put into water, it didn't float. It was never put into water, because you only had to look at it. There was no sea under, there was no flooring in it. The moment you put it into water, it would have gone right down.
As one can imagine, a lot of head-scratching occurred following the death of the mechanical Rover.
And we were sitting outside with two very large gin and tonics and talking about what we're going to do about Rover. And I always believe in miracles, because I know I just went like that. It was 10 o'clock at night, and I just went like that. And all I could see was these white things up in the sky. And I said, Pat, what's one of those? And he looked up and he went, "You look like balloons." And we both kind of looked at each other and went, whoa.
A van load of balloons, all potential Rovers, soon arrived at Portmeirion.
So we ended up buying many different sizes of balloons, filled them up with oxygen, and they looked pathetic. They were like blah, 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 heavy, lifeless, no shape to them.
The big problem was that a balloon full of air was a very soggy beast. If it was full of helium, it went straight up.
And then the prop man said, well, let me put a fishing wire on it, which we did. And suddenly we could pull this thing around all over the place and no one could see the fishing wire. And it worked.
You had those tied to Pat, if you remember, and I was using those on my fishing pole, and we did a lot of the stuff in reverse. We had everybody walking backwards and so on and so forth to make the balloons work correctly.
Rover, the most iconic image of the prisoner, was ready to terrorise. The episode Arrival signalled Rover's first appearance in Portmeirion. With the help of some fine fishing wire, the apparition made its spectacular entry in front of a startled number 6. As terrifying as the sight was, the sound effects accompanying it were somewhat disappointing. These heavy breathing noises were re-edited at a later date, replaced with a recording of a monastic choir and a man screaming his head off.
Qu'est-ce que c'était? On vous le dira en temps utile.